Oh, that's not bad.
How far are
I was worried about that. I think I have oatmeal in my purse somewhere, and I was like, there's no fruit over there.
anyone from?
I don't know. Outreach Communications too, and I don't see a bit.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Dave? All the breakfast you can go at it. Oh, I see.
Really appreciate you venturing out in the traffic in LA. I'm in from Phoenix, so I share your pain a little bit, but not as much. So we're going to keep this very open and conversational. My name is Randy Gupka, by the way. I am the Los Angeles Newspaper Group's relationship manager. And what I do is I support the newspaper's activity in the field to identify solutions to help our customers get strong return on their investment and value with their solutions. And to my right is Shannon Zamora. She is the advertising recruitment manager at the Los Angeles Newspaper Group, and she really assisted tremendously in coordinating this event, as well as Julie. So I'd like to thank you as well, Julie, and Lynn this morning for getting some of the flyers together. But most importantly, thank you everyone for joining us today. We know time is of the essence, and we're sorry we're a little bit late, but we were expecting more guests, and we were just kind of holding out for that. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Matt Charney. He's obviously our guest keynote speaker. Matt Charney is a graduate from University of Southern California with a degree, he's standing to the left on your side, University of Southern California in screenwriting and film production. And Matt has worked as a recruiter, so he shares your pain and your experience for Walt Disney as well as Warner Brothers. As our social recruitment engagement manager for Monster, he has been with Monster since October 2009, but he has a strong tenure in the field, and he is an expert in social recruiting and where it's going today as far as an evolution of how it's going to impact your business and your human talent requirements. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Matt again to join the stage and begin the presentation. And again, please be engaging and ask a lot of questions, but Matt, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you very much. You up and working? Move that up a little bit. Cool. So there's a camera in the back, and how's everybody doing today? Good. So really, thank you all for coming out. So as Randy said, I'm a former recruiter, so I'm kind of shocked at the amount of HR professionals who decided to come out early to have breakfast. I know how busy you are, and I'll definitely try to make it worth your time. The one thing though that he did say that may not be so accurate is I am not a social recruiting expert. I don't think that concept exists. And unless you know your company and you know your role and you know what you're doing, that only in that context are you a social recruiting expert. So I'm just trying to figure this out like the rest of you guys. But certainly the goal of today is to try to tell you what has worked and what I think can work for you. So just by show of hands, who here is an HR generalist who has a little recruiting duties, okay? Who here is a recruiter? Like talent acquisition is what they do. All right, my people. And Nice. And who here is in recruitment advertising or works for a vendor? Okay, cool. So pretty good spread. So this is kind of geared, obviously, towards anyone who's working for a client or for a company, or for themselves if you're search or retain, on how to put together a social media plan. Now, I know that a lot of companies and a lot of people generally tend to have a reaction to social media right now as pertains to recruiting, where they say, I don't have a lot of time. Social media takes a lot of time. I'm calling all day, I'm on the phone all day, I have so many recs, my hiring manager wants this, my comp benefits people need this report, I don't have time to use social media. And the fact of the matter is, hopefully, the big takeaway by the end of the day, you'll see that there is very much the power of social media in the recruiting and talent acquisition process to save you a lot of time. So actually looking at these tools and these technologies as an aid rather than as a hindrance. So just a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm a social media manager for Monster.com. It's an interesting role, and really kind of what I have is one of the cooler jobs out there. I get to read blogs, I get to read white papers, attend webinars, and talk to people like you, and really I'm oriented towards listening to the recruiting HR industry, particularly among our customers, and helping to bring value to them from a thought leadership angle. So I thrive on interaction, and this presentation today is going to be really iterative and participatory, which means that ultimately I am going to need a volunteer. Everyone's laughing, they're like, I'm eating breakfast. Having anticipated this, and this is the only place I can give this away, anyone who would like to volunteer, my other option if I don't have one is to read out of a classified ad from today's LA Valley News. I can do that as well. But anyone would like to help me today, VIP pass for 2 to the Magic Castle in Hollywood, so there you go. Any volunteers? Anyone? Go back. Yep. Cool. So you want to come up here. And while she's doing that, because obviously, like we said, I did help implement social recruiting and online employer branding for Disney Corporation. At their corporate office, I was responsible for their studio and their corporate groups in Burbank, as well as with pictures and television for Warner Brothers. So I like a trailer before I start into the main event. So let me show you a real quick trailer, kind of setting the mood. This is one of the better scripts that I've ever written, actually. So you can snark in private here. Hope this works. And
as an HR professional, you're always on the lookout for the latest trends in locating and managing new talent. Social media can be a helpful tool, but when it comes to recruiting, there's no one simple way to meet your needs. And while social media can be a powerful tool, it's only one piece of the hiring puzzle. Here are some emerging social media trends to watch for. Today, more people are networking online, and that means they likely have social media IQ, which can benefit your company. You can raise your organization's social media IQ with a mix of savvy new hires and training of existing employees. But social media has many more uses. With the global reach of social media, you can scale your strategies and apply them anywhere in the world your business needs great talent. That means you can adapt a global approach to hiring locally. The world may be shrinking because of technology, but your access to qualified candidates is actually growing. The question is, how do you get in front of the right talent? With the help of behavioral targeting technology, you can put yourself in front of potential candidates that are matched to your job postings, no matter where they are. Using behavioral technology in tandem with social media gives you the method and venue to engage potential candidates with your brand. And as social media becomes more commonplace, so too does the use of mobile devices and technology. It's estimated that about 89% of Americans use a mobile device. That creates a huge potential resource for you to tap into and reach with your job postings and employment brand messaging. As well, with that massive growth of mobile and tablet technology comes apps. More and more location-based apps are being developed that feature proprietary career functionality. Just imagine the incredible increase in touch points. By embracing social media, HR pros like you have exciting new tools with which to share, inform, and connect. After all, it's those connections that can make great careers and maximize the value and impact of virtual workers and teams. To learn more, read about social media trends in the Resource Center and start planning for the future.
Cool, thank you for living with that. I appreciate the applause. Yeah. So you can all go. No, so a lot of that, obviously, that you hear a lot of buzzwords, which kind of turns people off of social media too, words like engagement, targeting, all that stuff. There's one slide on there that I think speaks everything, and that is attract, engage, and hire. That is recruiting, right? That's what you're doing. That dynamic does not change whether you're using mobile, whether you're using a classified ad, whether you're using Twitter or anything else. Your goal should be to take your current processes and use this as a way to augment it for the goal of all recruiting initiatives, which is, from a hiring manager perspective anyway, to put better talent in the open role as quickly as possible. So that is the ultimate deliverable for all of us. Should I go? So I have an awesome volunteer today. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Janisha Robinson. I work for the City of Los Angeles in public safety recruitment for LAPD and LAFD.
Awesome. Cool. So I appreciate your volunteering. Actually, I'm auditioning for Oprah's replacement. So you want to come up on this little podium, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm also short, so it gives me a little bit of credibility. Okay. So essentially, as I've found, recruitment really breaks down into 3 big questions. And these are questions that are also really easy, deceptively so. And so what I want to give you is a model where you can ask these questions in the process, whether or not you're going to be using social recruiting, although it's a good venue to use them, to have this conversation with candidates, hiring managers, and to inform your process. So using Janisa as an example here, we're going to be walking through kind of how this process works. Now I do apologize, I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. They say that the use of PowerPoint is supposed to be to stand out, but since everyone uses them, thought I'd roll with that, right? If you need something to look at, I'll throw up Twitter. It's hypnotic.